This is 27 Down, the perfect podcast for the perfect game. Welcome, guys. CJ's out today again. We're not going to talk about why, but today we're going to talk about the Nationals and how they are destroying Houston. Score was 12-3 last night, and we had a bunch of home runs from random players. I know Suzuki hit one in the 7th, Eden hit one in the 8th, and Taylor hit one in the 9th. It was a pitch hit home run, I believe. We're also going to talk about Knicks a little bit and the Nets. The season just went underway. They both lost last night, but if you watched both games, they both look so much better than they have over the past couple of years. I know the Nets were a playoff team last year, and they were fun to watch, but they went into overtime last night. They lost by 1 point. The Knicks lost by 9, but that was a more competitive game. Yeah, kind of hard. I'm going to have to ramble for 15 minutes by myself. I don't really know what we're going to talk about today. I don't really have anything interesting other than the Nationals game and the two games I just talked about. So let's just jump back into the Nationals. Going into last night's game, Justin Verlander was 0-4 with, I believe, a 5.80 ERA over 5 starts in the World Series. That's obviously dreadful, and he got another loss last night, so make that 0-5. If you look back on what the series was with the Yankees, I don't want to say that we got beat. I think that there were a ton of mistakes met on both sides. The Astros really weren't that great with their pitching, and if you go over the stats, we were both pretty even. My biggest issue with the Yankees is that we had runners in scoring position quite often, and we didn't do much. We had the bases loaded like every day, it felt like. I felt like every game we had bases loaded at least once, if not twice. And I know we saw the Didi Grand Slam against the Twins, and that was great, but we needed that type, or even a single or a double during those opportunities. I know we saw Gary Sanchez strike out once on, I think, 3 or 4 pitches. That's frustrating, and it's frustrating to then see the team that beats us go on to the World Series, lose the first game, and get destroyed in the second one. They're now going to go to Washington for the next 3 games, and I'm pretty sure Washington's going to win at least 2. I would be surprised if they don't at this point. We'll see who Houston goes with, but the problem is they've been overworked at a level that the Nationals have not been this postseason. The Nationals have already swept their opponent. I believe they've won the last 8 games. I got to double check on that, but I believe that's the case. I know they swept their last opponent. So, if you look at their record for the season, they were 93-69 teams. So everyone going into the playoffs goes, oh, they're nothing. But it's the playoffs. And at the beginning of the season, I think a majority of us had the 4 best teams: the Dodgers, the Nationals, the Yankees, and the Astros. And those are the 4 teams that made the most noise. I know the Dodgers were out in the first round, but they were still, 106-7 win team. So, let's just go over the 2 pitchers from last night. It was Strasburg and Verlander. Strasburg also struggled in the first. They both came out of it having given up 2 runs. Verlander does that a lot. He seems to have issues in the first, but then rolls pretty strong throughout the rest of the game. Not until the 7th inning. Last night in the 7th, I believe he gave up 3 or 4 runs. The Nationals scored 6. But he gave up a home run to Suzuki, and then they took him out, and the next inning, Eden got a home run off James, and then Taylor got a home run in the 9th. There's not much else to talk about regarding that series because it seems like it's going really, really fast. The next 2 pitchers we're going to see are probably Corbin and Greinke. Greinke's been dreadful all postseason, and I think he's probably going to be dreadful again. I don't like the matchup for the Astros because, one, the Nationals have Soto, who is young and he's insane. He's so good. And Springer and Bregman really are not hitting what they should be hitting right now. Those are the 2 guys they need to step up. Altuve is a little shit. He's going to hit all the time anyway. There's nothing you can do about that. He hits everyone, especially the Yankees. So expect him to continue to hit. But I think the issue with the Astros is that they're not hitting and their aces are not pitching at their ace level, and that's why they're going to lose, because they don't have a bullpen, at least not a bullpen as consistently good as what ours was. Strasburg was all right. He went, yeah, it's much easier with CJ because then I don't have to do this crap. 6 innings. 6 full innings. He gave up 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, 1 home run. Then they put in Fernando Rodney, Rainey, and Guerrero. So the next game is tomorrow, and then, like I said, it's going to be Corbin versus Greinke, and we're going to see if Corbin was worth the money that the Yankees didn't want to give him. And that also brings us, back to the offseason from last year. Did we need Corbin? Yeah, we probably did. Is it worth that kind of money? Not if it means we don't get Cole this year. I want Cole over anyone. You have a kid who is going to be 29 years old. He got 315 strikeouts this year. And I believe he did like 297 the year before. He's consistently good, and he's part of the reason why we didn't get past the Astros. And we've wanted him for over a decade. I believe we drafted him in 2008. That should be your number one move. I don't care if it costs $250 million. That should be the move that we focus on. If it means letting Didi go, then you let Didi go because we have Torres and we have DJ LeMahieu, who should probably get a 3-year extension based on how he played last year. Knowing the Yankees, they're going to be cheap bastards, though, so we'll see. The Astros just switched from being a National League team after the 2012 season, 2013 season is when they were an American League team. And, it's a complete rebranding. We've seen that with the New Jersey Nets moving to Brooklyn. And that was my team. It's not the same team anymore. It's a completely different team. It's a different feel. And I know that they're moving from New Jersey to Brooklyn, so you can have that kind of aspect. But you're taking a National League team and you're moving it to the American League. Those are 2 different divisions that play completely different baseball. So you're telling me these 12-year-old fans right now were fans 4 or 5 years ago when the team was losing and they made this drastic switch? I really don't think they were. These new Astros have only had 2 horrible seasons in the history of their existence. You want to know how many the Yankees have had? A lot more than that. We've also had a lot more winning seasons than them too. So cut the crap with how arrogant you guys are being, because it is hilarious how upset you are after 2 games. You talked so much shit last week about how awful the Yankees are and ha-ha and making fun of us. Now I'm going to mock the shit out of you when you get swept. And that's going to be 10 times more painful than losing to you last week, because you guys are expected to win and you were expected to be the one sweeping, not get swept. We have a ton of managers being hired now, too. Joe Girardi last night got hired by the Philadelphia Phillies. I believe they're going to announce it later today, so we don't know the exact details of the contract. Oh, man, I know my producer, Joe, is a huge Mets fan, so he's pissed off right now because he really, really had hope that they would at least give him an interview. And the fact that the season's not even over, we're in the World Series, so it's a little frustrating to a lot of people that we're even, allowing managers to do this right now. But the Mets didn't even bring him in. And it seems like the Phillies haven't even brought him in. They just announced that he's going to do that. And when you have a name like that, that's what happens, because Madden got hired by the Angels before they even fired Osmus. But that's why they fired him. And I think that's the same reason why they fired Gabe Kapler in Philadelphia, because I actually think Kapler is a better manager than Osmus is. Not by much, but he is. The other one is David Ross to the Cubs. And the Padres hired someone from the Texas Rangers. I'm not sure what his name is. It's with a T. Tillman or something? I don't know. I believe was Joyce Tingler. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. We got it. So I don't even know who that is, but he's now the manager of the Padres, and that's about it. Hopefully the World Series ends on Saturday. I want the Astros to get swept, and I want the Yankees to start making moves. They shouldn't even wait for the offseason to start. Just like managers are getting signed right now, the second the World Series is over, they should call Garrett Cole right now and just offer him $250 million to not even talk to anyone else. Just come here now. Because you put a rotation together of Garrett Cole as your number one, that takes off so much pressure from Severino, who can now be a very, very good number 2. He's probably still the ace. Tanaka then becomes the 3, so maybe that helps him throughout the season. You already know what he is in the playoffs. And then you have Paxton, who's an ace on a lot of staffs, as your number 4. That's insane. And let's not forget Jordan Montgomery's coming back, as well as Luis Siga and Michael King. And Delvey Garcia might be ready. So let's hope that that's the case. But I think this is going to be hopefully a productive offseason, better than what we had last year, even though we added some significant pieces that helped us. Next year will hopefully be better. In 2016, when we started our rebuild, we had a goal of about 2019, 2020, 2021 as to start the dynasty and start winning a bunch of championships. The reason it's so frustrating is that in 2017, we almost made it to the World Series. So in a lot of fans' minds, we're there, it's easy, we're done. We made it early, and now we're seeing all these other teams figure out how, we approach the situation. And we're similarly built in the way that the Astros are, and in the way that, Tampa Bay has used the opener. We do that as well. So there's a lot of really smart analytical teams who are putting together the similar situations that we are. And if you really look at the season, we came in 3rd place. That's pretty damn good for a team that is young and had 30 plus injuries this year. You don't win with 30 injuries, and we almost did. So that's an accomplishment. So last night was opening night, or the second night. 2 nights ago, we had 2 games. But Charlotte Hornets forward Nicholas Batum fractured his finger in 126-125 win over the Bulls. So that kind of sucks for Batum. I've always liked him. He's no Frank Kaminsky, but he's pretty solid. Actually, I'm going to look how Frank's doing. I think the Suns played the other night. I'm a big Suns fan now because of Big Frank. Played for Wisconsin, which is, I didn't go to Wisconsin, but that's my school.
Had 9 points.
9 points.
4 rebounds.
4 rebounds. He's a star. Oh, man, he's a star, Joe. I can't wait to tell CJ about Frank Kaminsky's big 9 points.
I got to think about Frank Kaminsky. We'll talk about it on another episode. I'm in Arizona with that.
He's going to make it one of these days, guys. He's only been in the league like 4 or 5 years now, but he's about to make it. Last year, he averaged 8.6 points, so he was down from his 11 points the year before. I had so much hope when he had 11 points. It was great. Do we have a Thursday night football game tonight? I looked, but I didn't see one, so I think maybe they're off this week.
Skins Vikings, so probably just no one's talking about it.
Skins Vikings. Awesome.
No one's worried.
No one cares. That's why. Like ESPN didn't even care. I legit went on and looked for a good 20 to 30 minutes this morning to see if they were playing, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I went all through it's so annoying. Apparently Beal and Doncic had no beef after their chippy matchup. So that's why write an article if there's no beef. I want to see an article about the beef. I'm not even going to read that. Okay, so Clippers Beverly got fined $25,000 for his ball toss. So I guess the season's starting out pretty fiery. I just like the fact that players have moved teams. That was one of the most fun off seasons we've ever had. And I know we don't get to see Durant this year, and believe Klay Thompson is going to be out for the whole year. So that kind of sucks. But the fact that Golden State lost 2 players, I think they lost Boogie and KD, it's fun. Okay, I like that because it's gotten so boring seeing them every single year. Like, I want the Bulls to get good again.
Clay's still hurt, right?
Yeah, he's going to be out the year. Clay's going to be out a year. I would not be shocked if KD came back for the playoffs. That I wouldn't be shocked for.
Yeah,
that would be like a fun surprise. Like, I'm here. Boston lost to Philadelphia, which is interesting because Philadelphia has Al Horford now, which they he left Boston, obviously. The Celtics still have that bum Gordon Hayward, but he scored 25 points last night. He hadn't scored 25 points in like 3 years.
Did you see DeMar DeRozan had a really bad game?
DeRozan had a bad game, really?
Like 5 points with 5 minutes left. Couldn't believe it.
DeRozan's on Spurs now.
Spurs, yeah.
That was an interesting trade, and I think when they made that trade to bring in DeRozan and get rid of Kawhi, who didn't want to be there anymore, I had a feeling Kawhi wasn't going to stay with Toronto. I think everyone had that feeling that he was going to leave, and I know he got booed by Lakers fans in LA. They didn't even let him finish his thank you speech to the Clippers. They're like, nah, screw you. This is Lakers Stadium. So Kemba Walker was terrible. 12 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. If you're the star point guard, you can't have 2 assists. And that's everyone on the team had 2 assists. Gordon Hayward had 2, Tatum had 2, Cantor had 2, Walker had 2, and then they had 2 assists off the bench. 3 assists from your point guards? No wonder you guys lost by 10 points. I really hate Philadelphia, though. I went to the Philadelphia playoff game in Philadelphia against the Nets last year on my birthday, actually, April 15th. And it was the third quarter was the biggest record-breaking scoring quarter in the history of the NBA playoff games, where Philadelphia scored 53 points to the Nets 7. And it was just so bad because the first 2 quarters we were in the game within 5 points was the biggest separation, and then they scored 53. And we just sat there while Philadelphia fans laughed at us for being in New Jersey jerseys, because I didn't have a Brooklyn jersey. I don't like Brooklyn. I like New Jersey, so I have this hard time buying
This is last year.
This was this playoff.
Jersey. I thought you were talking about when Iverson.
No, I mean I was wearing New Jersey gear because I'm a Jersey fan, but this was a Brooklyn playoff game because I just can't make the switch. So I'm kind of a Knicks fan, but I'm really a Brooklyn fan. Who knows? I don't know what I am. I just root for New York. But yeah, we got blown out in that game, and we got to sit there for the rest of the game while everyone laughed at us. And you think Boston fans are crazy? Go to a Philadelphia playoff game. Those guys get loud as shit too. And they had these fire torches on the basketball for the intro. And we were 12 rows back behind the basket, and we could feel that shit. Straight. Oh man, it was a fun game. Minus the 53 points. That was a really rough quarter. But yeah, like I said, I grew up a New Jersey Nets fan back in the days of Rodney Rogers and Kerry Kittles, and then Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin, Vince Carter was my favorite. Those were fun years. And then we got Chris Humphries and Darren Williams. That was right before we moved to Brooklyn, and no one went that season that me and my father got courtside seats for under $20. And I shook Darren Williams' hands, and then Chris Humphries came by, and I was like, no, I don't want to give you a high five, and I gave it to someone else. But Humphries was actually pretty decent. He had some solid years and some random games where it's how did Humphries just put up 22 points? What?
He's very inconsistent.
What is this crap? He's only known because he married that stupid Kardashian, but he was actually a decent basketball player. It's terrible. Remember Keith Van Horn? That was another guy back in the Jersey days who I used to like. Punk.
He never reached what everybody thought.
No, I thought Van Horn was going to be not Jordan, but
No, they made it he was going to be the 3-point champion of the world.
Yeah.
He came into the league.
Who is that other white guy from Duke? Chris Leitner, who everyone hated, who could hit threes and stuff too. If Van Horn became half of that, I think we would have been pretty happy. But there was that documentary on ESPN, Everyone Hates Christian Leitner or something.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I need to watch that again. All right, well, I'm just rambling, so we're going to cut it off now. I think we have enough material. This is 27 Down, the perfect podcast for the perfect game. Hope to see you guys in 2 weeks because Joe is off next week. And hopefully in 2 weeks, CJ will be back from whatever he's doing now. All right, take care, guys.